Good morning, everyone. Brian here again with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning I have for us the review of the Atari VCS 2600 prototype game, Sinistar. Now this one is fairly interesting in many ways. Originally, the arcade cabinet original was developed and published, it was developed by Sam Dicker, Robert J. McCall, Richard Witt, and Kim Graham, with design by Noah Falstein, based on a design by Noah Falstein and John Newcomer, with art by Jack Hager, for Williams to be published, and was published by Williams Electronics in 1983. It was pretty cool. It had voice synthesis and all, something we didn't see in a whole lot of other games at that time. And also had that big, kind of skull-ship-looking Sinistar type skull, which can be kind of scary or intimidating looking, in a way. And with the voice synthesis and all, I've commonly heard accounts where, it was a pretty loud game and could commonly be heard throughout a lot of the arcade whenever you went into an arcade which had one, so. And it was pretty cool. Now, ironically enough, it didn't really get any ports for either home video game consoles or home computers. Though there was an Atari 800 or 8-bit home computer port being developed, as well as a port for the Atari 5200, and this Atari VCS 2600 port, though none ever really got published. We'll go into why in just a bit. Anyway, Lou Harp was developing this for Atari Corporation in 1984 for the Atari VCS 2600. And it's pretty good. The whole thing is, Sinistar is this, I don't know, I guess apparently somewhat sentient or something, evil spaceship or something like that, which is out to destroy the universe. And, well, you have a ship out there which is considered one of the best hopes for stopping it, apparently. And, how you do that is, there are what you call, well, I'll get into it as we get into the gameplay, because it's not that hard to explain. Anyway, the box image I'd shown for the announcement post is apparently a concept art rendering of what the box art may have looked like had the game been released. One of a few, but it was the one I could get to work, so. As far as I know, there haven't been any reproductions, whether cartridges or otherwise, created released of this that I could find through any of my regular sources or otherwise. So, not sure if it's ever been done that way or not. Possible. However, the game ROM had been discovered. A few that were less complete, and the one we're going to play here, which is the most complete. And fortunately, in the Atari 2600 collection that was put together for me by someone else for my Hyperkin Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console, well, I have the digital download of the game ROM for each of those, so we're going to play the most advanced one. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get us set up with my Hyperkin Retron 77, and we're going to go ahead and take a look into the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with gameplay of Sinistar, Atari VCS 2600 prototype game. Get this thing started up and make sure everything's in order. Yep, looks like it. I've got full range here. Okay, here's the one that's the most complete. We can see there are about 4 of them, and this last one is apparently the most complete one. See here it says manufacturer Atari with Lou Harp Developing. I didn't find a model number for it before, which is why I didn't mention it, but it appears as though it would have had a model number of CX-26122. And of course it says it's a prototype. Just use your joystick controllers, and it's a F8 type, which means it would have been an 8K cartridge had it been released. Okay. Make sure that's in skill level A. Okay, first we can see here we've got those red guys are warriors who are trying to fight you. Have to deal with them for a bit. We can also see that we have, kind of like you'd have on, say, Defender or Choplifter or maybe Super Cobra. We have a, go away. They do not let up, do they? We have a radar screen like those games do, which kind of gives you a sense of what all is out there. I'm not sure entirely what everything stands for, but up top I think number 5 may be number of lives. Either number of lives or some type of health measure, I don't know for sure. That's Sinistar being built. Darn. The blue ones that you see are harvesters, which are trying to harvest the same stuff that you're. The thing is, the blue ones are harvesters, and they're harvesting Cine bomb things. That's the little things that are coming from the asteroids and all. Which are also the things which are powerful enough that you can destroy Sinistar with them, whereas the red are the warriors trying to stop you. Basically, you have to try to gather about 18 Cine bomb shots, because that's how many it takes to kill Sinistar, and then if you manage to do that, it starts over again, and you repeat the whole thing in a higher difficulty. Unfortunately, this one does not actually have, any real voice synthesis to it, so you don't get that far with it. And it can take a bit to gather the Cine bombs or Cine crystals, whatever you know, to get enough shots that you can actually stand a chance of killing Sinistar. You have to try to deal with these clouds the entire time you're trying to do all that, so. The controls are pretty basic. You just go ahead and press what direction you want to move in. And you move in your standard laser, basically just goes ahead and fires automatically. So you don't have to worry about pressing fire on it or anything. Basically, as I was trying to say, only way to harm Sinistar is with the Cine bombs, so without having those, you're not going to get very far. And killing him, so, and like I said, it takes up to 18 shots. It's pretty tough to do. I've been able to do it once yet, so. You can kill those harvesters some to get more Cine crystals or Cine bomb things if you need to, but it's kind of tough. You have to manage all this. Really, this is pretty faithful to the arcade cabinet original in many ways, even though it's not 100% since it doesn't have, like, say, voice synthesis for you to have, and also it is a little bit of a different matter, but it's not in a bad way. I mean, this is pretty good. It's tough, but and pretty difficult. But then again, the arcade cabinet original was no cakewalk either, as I recall it. Well, not that I ever really played it myself. I don't think I was old enough, but all accounts I've heard, it was was a tough game. This would be kind of par for the course. And of course, Sinistar is perfectly capable of killing you rather easily. You got a good deal of points up there already. Not enough. Again, to take Sinistar out requires up to 18 Cine bomb hits, and that's not always easy to come by. As I mentioned, you gotta deal with these pests the entire time. Okay, so I've got to 11, not quite enough. I can see this was being pretty fun to play as much as you'd like, you know. I mean, it's difficult enough and all. You try to take some tries to actually get through the entire thing. Another thing I've noticed is, you know, usually your Cine bombs, whatever direction your joystick is in, they tend to fire the opposite direction, so be mindful of that. I've yet to look around at this, but I keep trying. Why not? And of course, the workers will continue to rebuild Sinistar even while you try to destroy him. So, anyway, it's pretty fun. Let's see. That's 22,235 points. Not bad. Anyway, I think you guys probably get the idea pretty well with the gameplay by this point. Okay, so that was Sinistar, a 1984 prototype game for the Atari VCS 2600. Is it pretty good? I think so personally, though. Again, like I was saying, it's very difficult. Though, by all accounts I know of, so was the arcade cabinet original, so that's no big surprise or a big drawback, and I really haven't gotten to a point of managing to beat it on one level, but I challenge anyone else to get that good at it, because I'm sure there are those who could. Now, as for why it went unreleased, well, considering that it was still being developed about 84, we probably couldn't say that the 1983 North American industry and market crash for video games got it, because it probably would have gone down before that, or before 84 in that case. There is some speculation that perhaps it just did not play test too well is why it got canceled, though there's no certainty about that. But then again, if you're looking at the 1984 timeline, that's about the time when Warner Communications was selling Atari Corporation off to Jack Tramiel, and Atari would turn over to Atari, go from being Atari Corporation to Atari Inc. or Atari Incorporated, and a lot of games, including the one from last week, ZVS, that prototype, were canceled in all that. So there's a fair likelihood, though no certainty, that it might have been one of those that got canceled with that changeover as part of cost-saving cutbacks by Mr. Tramiel and his team. Though, don't know for certain. It makes sense if that were the case. And, of course, the Atari 5200 port and the Atari 8-bit port apparently were also canceled, which makes a little bit less sense with the Atari 8-bit port, considering later on the XE Game System, or ZEGS as it's sometimes called, would be coming out too, and that would have been a nice one for it. But then again, that would have been, the ZEGS came out, I think it was like 86, 87, so kind of a gap in between there, so it kind of makes sense to see why they might have canceled that one as not being viable at the time, or thought of as being. Anyway, I do have a few recommendations and links for you guys from my preferred YouTubers. The new retro show, Atari Man 71, High Retro Game Lord, and ISB, which, if I'm not mistaken, is short for Il Seabass. His is mostly a gameplay high-scoring video, much better than what I just did. They all have nice videos on it, and I will go ahead and leave you guys recommendations and links to those four, as well as to the Wikipedia article on Sinistar, which does mention this, and the AtariProtos.com article, which goes into a bit further detail on this particular prototype version. Also, although I'm not entirely aware of where you could possibly find, everywhere that you could find the a digital download of the game ROM to try out and play for yourselves if you want to, considering how this was put together for me, I have become aware that AtariMania.com does have one available, but since I don't have the stuff to download myself, I'm not sure if it's this one, the most complete one, or a different one, but feel free to go ahead and go there and check it out and try it out for yourselves if you'd like to. So I'll leave a link to AtariMania.com where you can find that ad as well. Big shout out to my Atari 2600 Facebook group. Love you guys over there, and hopefully this upload will not take, video upload won't take too long to become available to you guys over there. It has been a bit overcast and rainy here as of late, so it might take a little more time than usual, but Again, hopefully it won't take too long this morning to happen. Also, go ahead and keep your eyes peeled for keep an eye out on my feeds here on YouTube, as well as on my Facebook and Twitter feeds, as I'm going to be putting up the announcement post for what this Wednesday's upcoming Intellivision Original Library review is going to be. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, and I should have that one up a little bit later on this morning. I pretty well got picked out and have a pretty good idea of which one it's going to be, though I'm still kind of debating between two of them, so we'll see. In the meantime, if you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comments section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Sunday, and hopefully I will see everyone back here again this coming Wednesday.